Good morning, students. Again, we are going to start our second lecture on power engineering. And in our first lecture, we have discussed about heat engines. There, we have understand what is the heat engine and how heat engine will convert the thermal energy into mechanical work. So, while discussing the heat engine, we have discussed about the examples of heat engine. So out of that examples, we have discussed about the steam engine, steam turbine, and closed cycle gas turbine. So if you are thinking about these three examples, so we can easily identify that the combustion of fuel will take place at the outside of the engine. And if you are considering the reciprocating engine, open cycle gas turbine, there the combustion of fuel is taking place inside the engine. So on the basis of combustion where will take place, depending on that, the heat engines are broadly classified into two categories, that is external combustion engine and internal combustion engine. So in external combustion engine, the combustion of fuel will take place outside the engine, and in internal combustion engine the combustion of fuel will take place inside the engine. So example we have already discussed, that is the steam engine, steam turbine, and closed cycle gas turbine are the external combustion engines, and reciprocating engines, open cycle gas turbine is the internal combustion engine. In closed cycle gas turbine, actually the air will get heated outside the engine, and that air will get expanded into the turbine. And in open cycle gas turbine, we are directly expanding the combustion byproducts. Means what are the combustion gases are there we are expanding into the turbine. So these two are the basis categories of heat engines, the external combustion engine and internal combustion engine. Apart from that, we have to understand what is the IC engine. So if you are thinking about the internal combustion engines, it is concerned with the cylinder and piston type. Just you have to imagine about the cylinder and piston arrangement. So in cylinder and piston arrangement, we are supplying the fuel. What we are doing? We are supplying the fuel. So there will be the intake system will be there, cylinder will be there, and piston will be there, and piston's movement will be occur by carrying the processes on the working fluid inside the cylinder. So initially you have to understand how we can classify the internal combustion engine. So while classifying internal combustion engines, you have to think about what are the basic thermodynamic cycle we are using for uh, for getting the power. So depending on that power cycle, we have to classify the IC engine. Then again we have to think about the what is the fuel type we are supplying to the internal combustion engine. So second basis is the what is the fuel type. Again, speed of the internal combustion engine will be keeps on varying, means depending on the speed of the engines we have to categorize the internal combustion engines. Again, if you are thinking about the arrangement of the cylinder, so when in case of multi-cylinder engine, what is the arrangement of cylinder is there, because more than one cylinder will be clubbed, and that two sets of cylinder we are connecting to the common crankshaft. So that is also one of the basis. Again, obviously there is a combustion is occurring. So what is the initial thing that will start the combustion? Depending on the method of ignition, we are categorizing the IC engine. So we will see how IC engine will be classified. So this is the heat engine classification is there. In already we have discussed this. Heat engine are classified into internal combustion engine, and external combustion engine. So internal combustion engine further classified into rotary and reciprocating engine. Rotary IC engine is further classified into open cycle gas turbine and Wankel engine. And then reciprocating IC engine is further classified into gasoline engine and gasoline or petrol engine or diesel engine. At the same time, external combustion engines again further classified into reciprocating and rotary engine. So reciprocating steam and Stirling engine are the reciprocating type external combustion engine, and steam engine and closed cycle gas turbine is a rotary type external combustion engine. So here, as we have discussed, different basis of classification of the IC engine. So first classification we are doing on the basis of thermodynamic cycle, because we have to perform the different processes for completion of the cycle so that we can get the power at the shaft, at the crankshaft. So depending on the nature of thermodynamic cycle, the IC engine classified into Otto cycle engine, diesel cycle engine and dual combustion cycle engine. Then depending on the type of the fuel use, we are classifying the IC engine into petrol engine, diesel engine, gas engine, biofuel engine and dual fuel engine. Then again, depending on the number of strokes. So as I said, there are number of processes will be carried out inside the cylinder in order to get the power. So how many strokes are required to complete that processes? Depending on that, again we are classifying IC engine into two categories, that is a 2-stroke engine and 4-stroke engine. Again, for the combustion, the method of ignition is required. So depending on the method of ignitions, we are classifying IC engine into spark ignition engine and compression ignition engine. Then depending on the number of cylinders, how many number of cylinders are there in the engine, depending on that we are classifying the IC engine into single cylinder engine and multi-cylinder engine. So again, as we have discussed, the how we are positioning the cylinders, whether we are positioning cylinder in inline, whether we are positioning, if there are 4 cylinders are there, so 2 cylinders we are positioning in the slanting line and 2 cylinders are positioning in the slanting line, forming a V shape, and these two sets are commonly connected to the crankshaft, common crankshaft, and which is at the connecting point of the two slanting edges. So that type of engines we are carrying V engines. So depending on the position of the cylinder, we are again classifying IC engine into different categories, that is horizontal cylinder engine, vertical engine and V engine and radial engine. So in radial type, all the cylinder will be radially placed and they are connected to the crankshaft, common crankshaft, through the radial line, So again, what type of cooling arrangement we are providing to the engine, depending on that we are classifying IC engine into air cooled engine and water cooled engine. Then again, depending on the speed of the engine, we are classifying IC engine into low speed engines, medium speed engine, high speed engine. So these are the classification we have discussed. Now you have to understand what are the different components are there in the IC engine. So normally you have to imagine how engine will be there. So we are casting it. Initially what we can do, just that the main component of engines are the cylinder, then piston, then connecting rod, crankshaft. These are the main component. But for supporting this component, we need one supporting element should be there. So first one is the block. We are using the engine block, cylinder block. So cylinder block is a supporting element. So initially we are casting the engine in 3 different elements. Means first one is the cylinder head, first one is the cylinder head. Second is the cylinder block. So cylinder block will be consist of cylinder block will be consist of cylinder block will be consist of cylinder block so cylinder block will consist of the it will be consist of the cylinder block and upper portion of the crankcase and lower portion of crankcase and cylinder head will be casted separately. So cylinder block will be provided with the cooling jacket, water cooling jacket. If the cooling of engine will be carried out with the water cooling. If the cooling of engine is carried out with the air cooling with the cooling medium air, so we are using the cooling fins. We are provided the cylinder block will be provided with the cooling fins. It will provided with the cooling fins. So now this diagram is showing you the main engine component. So you can easily see here that there is a cylinder block is there. Inside the cylinder block we are machining the cylinder vessel. Cylindrical vessel. If it is a multi-cylinder engine, we are machining different multi-cylinder inside the block. Then we are finishing it again, and that inside the cylindrical vessel we are putting the piston, and in the cylinder there will be the combustion of fuel will be occur. In the combustion cylinder there will be the combustion of fuel will occur. So when the combustion of fuel is occurring, it is liberating the heat. Energy. Combustion gases are there. So that gases will act the pressure over the piston. It will act gases exert the force over the pistons, and due to there is a chances of escaping the gases from the surfaces of the pistons. So in order to prevent the escaping of the gases from the pistons, we are providing the piston rings. We are providing 2 or 3 piston rings, and apart from that again we are providing one oil ring. So that will act as a sealing from escaping the gases from the surface of the piston. So that is acting as a sealing. So then that piston is connected to the connecting rod. So this connecting rod is transforming the whatever the forces exerted on the pistons, it will transfer it to the crank, and that crank will convert the reciprocating of the pistons into angular motion, and that will provide the power to the shaft. Then again, in engine there are the engine is there, so intake fuel system is there and exhaust system is there. So intake system is connected to the inlet wall. It is connected to the inlet wall of the cylinder through one pipe. So that pipe is called intake manifold. Similarly, the exhaust system is connected with the exhaust wall of the engine through a pipe. That pipe is called as a exhaust manifold. So what we have discussed, these are the main engine component. That is the block, the body of engine containing cylinder made of cast iron and aluminium. So it is manufactured by casting. Then cylinder, circular cylinder in the engine block in which the piston reciprocate back and forth. So head, the piece which closes the end of the cylinder, usually containing the part of clearance volume and the combustion chamber. So then combustion chamber, the end of the cylinder between the head and the piston face where the combustion occurs. That is the combustion that we are going to study in further slides. Then crankshaft, it is a rotating shaft through which engine work output is supplied to the external system. Then the connecting rod, piston rings, camshaft. So camshaft is required. So camshaft, push rod, rocker arm, and tappet walls. These combine elements. So these are the combined elements which are required timely opening of the inlet and exhaust valve. That is required for timely opening of the inlet and exhaust valve. Camshaft, push rod, then crankcase, part of the engine block surrounding the crankshaft. In many engines, the oil pan makes up part of the crankcase housing. So this crankcase, half portion of the crankcase is attached to the block and half portion is casted separately. So exhaust manifold, we have studied what is exhaust manifold. Then what is the intake manifold? We have already discussed. This carburetor is required for required. It is a part of the intake system. It is a part of the intake system, and which will supply the exact proportion of air and fuel ratio to the engine cylinder in case of petrol engine. In case of petrol engine, so spark plug is a ignition device which is required to start the combustion in the petrol engine. So exhaust system, then again flywheel. So in IC engine, so whatever the torque produced throughout the processes or throughout the cycle, it is not uniform. It is fluctuating. So for creating the uniform torque, we are using the flywheel. So now, for understanding the performance of the engine, we should study about the engine terminologies. So here in this diagram, you can easily see the crankshaft is there, crank is there. So crank is connected to the piston with the connecting rod, and it is reciprocating. In between the TDC and BDC. So what is TDC and BDC? So TDC is the top dead center and BDC is the bottom dead center. So what is a dead center? So initially you need to understand what is a dead center. So dead center, now you can easily see if piston is moving, so it will change its direction. Of motion. So there is a motion to the piston. So the position of the piston, what is the dead center? It is the position of the pistons at the moment when it reverses direction of motion. That position is called top dead center. That position is called dead center. So there are two such points are there. One is nearer to the one point which is there. So one moment at one position of pistons, at that moment the pistons will reverse its motion. That is a BDC. So it is nearest from the crankshaft. So at that point the pistons will reverse its motion. So this is the BDC, and it is a TDC is the farthest point, the farthest position of the pistons at that the moment at which the pistons will reverse its motion. That is the top dead center, and this piston is moving from top dead center to the bottom dead center. Now you can easily identify there is some volume above the top dead center. So that volume space is there in between the. So we can say whatever the top dead center is there, and above the top dead center there is some volume is there. So that volume we are calling the clearance volume. And that volume we can easily specify that the volume between the top dead center and cylinder head is called as the clearance volume. So, and total cylinder volume is the volume swept by the pistons while moving from the top dead center to the bottom dead center. That volume we are calling the swept volume. So now you can easily see the piston is moving from top dead center to bottom dead center. So whatever the volume swept by the piston, nominal volume swept by the piston while piston moving from top dead center to bottom dead center, that is called swept volume. And the volume above the top dead center and below the cylinder head is called clearance volume. It is called clearance volume. And the nominal diameter of the cylinder is called bore. It's called bore. Again, the nominal distance between the top dead center and bottom dead center is called stroke. It is called stroke. So this is the bore, stroke, top dead center, bottom dead center, clearance volume, piston development or piston displacement or swept volume. Cylinder volume is nothing but the total volume. Compression ratio, mean piston speed. So TDC, it is the topmost position of the pistons toward the head side of the cylinder. You know what is the BDC? The lower position of the pistons toward the crank end side of the cylinder. In stroke, it is the linear distance traveled by the pistons when it moves from one end of the cylinder to the other end of the cylinder. Means it is a nominal distance between the top dead center and bottom dead center, that is called the stroke. So nominal diameter of the cylinder, that is the bore. Then swept volume, it is the volume swept by the pistons while moving from top dead center to bottom dead center. So this swept volume again we can define by the product of the area of the piston area into stroke. Then clearance volume. Then what is the compression ratio? It is a ratio of total cylinder volume to the clearance volume. It is the total cylinder volume to the clearance volume. So again we can say that this total cylinder volume is nothing but the swept volume plus clearance volume. So we can say that the addition of swept volume and clearance volume to the clearance volume is also called as a compression ratio. So while moving for the further topic, we need to understand the power cycles. So once we are understanding the power cycle, so we can easily understand the working of the IC engines. Means different types of IC. Mainly we have to understand the spark ignition engine and compression ignition engine. So before starting the working of spark ignition engine and compression ignition engines, we have to understand the power cycles. So power cycles are, so ideal cycle is the Carnot cycle, then Otto cycle, diesel cycle and dual cycle. That cycles we need to understand. So initially we'll discuss about the Carnot cycle. So for understanding the Carnot cycle, we are taking the piston cylinder arrangement. We are discussing the piston cylinder arrangement, and that piston cylinder arrangement having the total insulated walls. The walls of the cylinders are, we are assuming the walls of the cylinders are insulated, thermally insulated. Then piston movement is frictionless. What we are assuming, piston movement is frictionless, and the head of the cylinder is perfectly insulated and perfectly conductive, thermally conductive. So this we can change the head as per the requirement into conductive mode or insulating mode. So initially we are thinking that the head of the cylinder, so we can say that this is this first diagram. So we can here we can say that the piston cylinder arrangement is interacting with the high thermal energy source. Now if you are maintaining the cylinder head, as a conductive mode, so what will happen? There will be the heat transfer will be occur. From high energy source to the engine cylinder, engine cylinder. So there is a heat will get transfer. So transfer of heat will be happen in such a way that it will be happen very slowly. It will completed in slowly, means is quasi-static process. It will happen in quasi-static processes. So there will be the addition of heat will be occur from the energy source to the working gas inside the cylinder. So as the heat is added to the working gases into the cylinder, there will be the expansion will be occur. There will be a expansion will be occur. That can be shown by the point number 1 to 2 in the PV diagram. That will be shown into the PV diagram. That is shown in PV diagram from point 1 to point 2. So from point 1 to point 2, what is happening? From point 1 to point 1, there is a heat addition is occurring, and this heat addition is occurring very slowly and into part mode in quasi-static processes. That's why there is a isothermal expansion will be occur. So gas will expand and pistons will move from top dead center to the middle of the cylinder, to the mid of the cylinder. So piston is not gone to the bottom dead center, it is gone from top dead center to the middle of the cylinder, as heat will added to the gases. As heat is adding to the gases from the high energy source, the pistons will get expanded. So gases inside the will get expanded isothermally, and process 1 to 2 will be isothermal expansion process, isothermal expansion process, isothermal heat addition process, isothermal heat addition process, and it will be happen with very slow motion. It will happen in very slow motion. So now we are changing the cylinder head into, we are insulating it. Now we are insulating the cylinder head now. So now cylinder head will get insulated and further expansion of gases will be occur. Further expansion of gases will occur, and piston will move from middle of the cylinder to the bottom dead center, and this expansion will be occur isentropically, because we are insulating we have already insulated the head of the cylinder, and already the cylinder all are insulated. There will be the heat transfer from system to surrounding will be not occur. That's why this expansion will be occur isentropic expansion process. Now this process will occur in isentropic expansion process. Now again we are changing now. So this process is represented in PV diagram with the process 2 3. So process 1 2 is the isothermal expansion process or isothermal heat addition process, and process 2 3 is isentropic expansion process. Now at point number 3, again we are making the head of the cylinder conductive. We are making the head of the cylinder is conductive, and now this cylinder piston arrangement is interacting with the sink, low energy sink. It is interacting. So as it is interacting with low energy sinks, so whatever the heat inside the cylinder is there, that will start rejecting. So heat will get rejected to the energy sink at temperature T1. So again isothermally heat rejection will be occur over here from point 3, and pistons will move from bottom dead center to the middle of the cylinder, and this process is represented by process 3-4 in PV diagram and TS diagram. So in 3-4 heat rejection will be occur isothermally. Heat rejection will be occur to low temperature energy source at T1. So now again we are insulating the cylinder head. Now the piston is at middle of the cylinder, and from here again the compression, as the piston is moving from middle position of the cylinder to the top dead center, so there will be the compression of gases will be occur. And this compression is occurring at isentropically, adiabatically, and this can be represented by the process number 4 to 1. Here from process 4 to 1, the compression of gases is occurring adiabatically, and cycle will get completed. So we can easily find out that in Carnot cycle, there are four processes are there. First process is isothermal heat addition process. Second process is isentropic expansion process. Then third process is isothermal heat rejection process, and fourth process is isentropic compression process. So this is the Carnot cycle, and now we have to find out the efficiency of Carnot cycle. So for finding out the efficiency of Carnot cycle, we have to find out the what is the work done is there, how much work done is happening, and how much energy is absorbed by the system. So again, this is the Carnot cycle is represented. Process 1 to 2 is isothermal expansion process. Then 2 to 3, isothermal expansion is nothing but the expansion is happening as the heat is adding to the cylinder engine. So that's why isothermal expansion is happening. Then again, adiabatic expansion will occur, and isothermal compression process as heat get rejected. So rejection of the heat will compress the gas. It will gas. So it is termed as isothermal compression process. Later on, there is as the piston is moving from middle position to the top dead center, there will be the adiabatic compression process will be occur in Carnot cycle. So again, for finding out the efficiency of Carnot cycle, we can say the efficiency of Carnot cycle is the heat transfer into one, means work done we have to find out, divided by the heat absorbed from the source. So work done is nothing but the heat supplied minus heat rejected. So we can say that Q1 is the heat supplied and Q2 is the heat rejected. So work done will be Q1 minus Q2 divided by heat absorbed. So if we are simplifying it, so we can say that it is 1 minus Q1 by Q2. 1 minus Q1 by Q2. Again, if you are supplying it, you will get the 1 minus higher temperature divided by lower temperatures, because T2 is nothing but the T2, it is the higher temperature, and so we can easily Q1 is related with T1, Q2 heat rejection is related with the lower temperature, and Q1 is heat absorbed is related with higher temperature. So we can say that the efficiency is nothing but the 1 minus lower temperature divided by higher temperature. So this is T2 is the lower temperature and T1 is the higher temperature. So again we can find out with the help of TS diagram. Again you can same expression you can find out with the help of TS diagram. So net work is the absorbed minus heat rejected, that is you can calculate the heat absorbed with the help of TS diagram. So here heat absorbed is nothing but the S2. So if you are concentrating on this, so this S2 minus S1, it will give the DS, it will give the change in entropy. If you are multiplying this change in entropy with the temperature, you will get the heat transfer, you will get the change in heat, So for finding out the change in heat, we are using the dq is equal to TDS. So you will get the Q absorbed by multiplying this higher temperature with the S2 minus S1. So how we have find it out? T1 is equal to S2 minus S1. Similarly, heat rejection is related with the lower temperature. It is related with the lower temperature, and that lower temperature is the T4, and process is from 3 to 4. So S3 minus S4 you will get. So S2 minus S1 is the S3 minus S4. You can find out from this TS diagram. You can easily find out from this here. S2 minus S1 is nothing but the S3 minus S4. Just look at this diagram and concentrate on process 1 2 and process 3 4. So from process 1 2 you can find out ds is the S2 minus S1, and from process 3 4 the ds is change in entropy is S3 minus S4. So S2 minus S1 and S3 minus S4 are same. So here we are simplifying it. So T2, so HA minus HR, T2 S2 minus S1 minus T2 S3 minus S4 divided by HA, that is a T1 S2 minus S1. So we are bringing the common S2 minus S1 here, because S2 minus S1 is equal to S3 minus S4. So in numerator S2 minus S1 will be common, it will get common. So you will get S2 minus S1 common, and T1 minus T2 will be there. So S2 minus S1 will get cancelled, and you will get T1 minus T2 divided by T1. So T1 minus T2 divided by T1 is nothing but the 1 minus T2 minus T1. So where T2 is the lower temperature and T1 is the higher temperature. So other portion will take in the next class. Thank you.